Test match, yeah? And grass is supposed to be green and it's supposed to be lush.
Oh, Pollock. 14 without loss. South Africa's series in one day is not so good. For Bangladesh, the tour going along swimmingly. Absolutely brilliant. It's historical, that win. Match series 2-1 and on the quest here. Haven't started particularly well, having to try and find their lengths, Tuscan and Ebadot.
The thing about both teams, Tom, there's obviously a lot of discussion, plenty of meetings that go on before the game starts, game plans that you discuss and you want to implement, and then eventually you have to come out and try and do that. And I think that'll be the key here, and particularly these next 10 overs here for Bangladesh. I would think they would need to try and strike, need to try and put South Africa under a little bit of pressure. We talked about the batting lineup and no one averaging 40. There's a debutant, there's a few guys who've only played 1 or 2 games. And it would be probably assessed best as a fragile South African batting lineup. But if these two get stuck in, and after 20 overs there's no damage done, it really will be an uphill battle for Bangladesh in their quest to try and win their first test here.
Yeah, it would become a tough ask of the Bangladeshi bowlers. They also, with Shakib Al Hasan missing from the lineup, he's the guy who kind of balances the bowling attack. And so at the moment they only have the one spinner in the lineup. They have got 1 or 2 other guys, Mominul Haq, who can bowl some left arm spin, but they've got the 3 seamers essentially, the 3 seamers and Mahedi, who will bowl his off spin. And whenever Shakib is unavailable, it puts a lot of strain on the bowling attack because you don't have the other off left arm spin option.
I just think their plans they'll be disappointed with. There's been too many deliveries. I think we've got to say, out of the 15 deliveries from this side, Dean Elgar's probably worked about 8 or 9 of them to the leg side. 2 straight, not really bringing the slip cordon into play, not really bringing the stumps into play. It's been too easy for the South Africans. I mean, that's bread and butter for Dean Elgar, and as you say, the guys know him well. Domingo has been coach. Alan Donald would have watched a lot of his cricket. You want to be out in the 5th stump. You want to be making sure that he's not sure whether he should or shouldn't have played, and if it's full enough, he's not a big, massive driver through the offside. So they've missed the trick already, and that's why I'm saying that there needs to be some clear thinking and some good leadership out there. Guys, come on. This is our plans. This is what we've discussed. We need to adjust. We need to get it right. Otherwise, it could be a long, warm day. Change of angle from Tuscan Almond now to Sorrel Irvi.
It's not a bad line. I think he needs to stick there and get further up, and if he gets any sort of shape, then it asks the question of the batter, do I play, do I leave? It's a comfortable leave, yes, it's outside, but that hasn't swung at all, it's just carried on. And if he works from there back in, and perhaps you're asking sufficient questions, and with the length creeping closer.
I think it's a case in point for a lot of subcontinental bowlers who go overseas into more friendly bowler, fast bowling conditions, should I say, is to work out what their game plan should be. That's nasty ball. That's where he needs to be. Those last 2 deliveries are perfect. But you look at their stats and there's 11 games, 20 wickets, 13 games, 25 wickets. It's because the role they play is sometimes 4 overs with a new ball. And then if it reverses, you get another 4 overs. And then when the second new ball comes, you maybe bowl another 4 overs. So it could be 12 overs for the day. So when you get that chance, you think, I've got to make it work. I've got to go swinger. I've got to go full. I've got to go bouncer. I've got to try too much. Whereas when you do come in these conditions, just much like a spinner when they go to Bangladesh, you just need to be consistent. Just keep threading it through to the keeper like he's done in his last 2. And invariably that's where you'll build the pressure and maybe create that first opportunity.
Yeah, good 3 deliveries those. Good line, and that one the best of them in terms of length. 15 without loss.
The world we've got this green in his way.
You off, please. And off stand, please. Thank you.
A table that South Africa are currently happy with. Played 5, won 3, lost 2. In percentage, second in the ICC World Test Championship. Still in that first cycle, a couple of cycles, and see who ends up where and who ends up contesting that final. But they have good memories, South Africa. In recent times have played well. We've mentioned the India series in New Zealand. Yeah, a few reasons given for Test match number 1 where they just weren't at the races, didn't turn up at all. This is last series here at home, won that, and then in New Zealand that first game just really weren't at the races. Absolutely nothing working, and turning it totally around in game number 2, which, having watched game 1, it was difficult to know what to expect for game number 2. And that they won. Sarah Lervier with 100 there. Having lost by so big a margin, to then win by so big a margin was an incredible turnaround. It says, I suppose, a whole lot about South Africa, but also says a whole lot about New Zealand as well, who came from that dominant position to just be absolutely blown away in game 2.
Yeah, we're just talking about Everdot and what he possibly should or shouldn't be doing here in this initial period to the South Africans. So where we want to be, he want to be hitting top of off. This is the area that he wants to be trying to land as many of the deliveries and get them through in that area. So where does he want to be hitting? It's this area here that he wants to be trying to get all these little dots in here. This is where he wants to be operating, and he's not doing enough of it. That one was almost on the right length, and you can see already it nips around, it causes trouble. I think he's just being too far back of a length and not asked enough questions. That's nice. Not for Dean Elgar, obviously, but
I was going to say.
Where the bowler wants to be, that's the no man's land. That's should I get forward, should I stay on the back foot? And caught in the middle of no man. Looks like also went off the elbow, didn't it?
Yep, little nick on the elbow. Into the box.
Yeah, so lastly what we'll do is we'll just say what he needs to. That last delivery too short again. And I just think what he needs to do is try and come from this point here and come into there, and then trying to get it straight and go through that circle. That's where he needs to be, trying to land it in and around that little messy area over there more consistently, and that should bring...
No ball, Sean, you can't be there.
Oh, okay.
Well, get closer, get closer.
His feet are in, that's just where the arm is released from.
End of the over. 16 without loss.
You can see you didn't get to draw enough at nursery school there.
Who, me? Am I the guy who's drawing?
Referring to myself.
South Africa's side, Elga and Irvi are out there and they've put on 16. A comfortable start for them to this point. Keegan Peterson